Okay, so welcome back. Now we're going to look at Romeo and his whole discussion with Friar Lawrence. Um, Sorry I geeked out on you a little bit, pointing out all the literary elements in that first monologue by Friar Lawrence. Anyway, so now Romeo enters. Now think about this. This is dawn, like early morning. Um, and Romeo's a teenager, and I know how you all like to sleep. So it seems really weird, and that's kind of what that's sort of what Friar Lawrence is getting at. Romeo comes in, he says, "Good morrow, Father. Good morning." Friar Lawrence greets him, "Benedictite, bless you. Hello." He says, "What early tongue so sweet saluteth me?" Like, who is that so early in the morning? Then he looks at Romeo, he said, "Young son, it argues a distempered head so soon to bid good morrow to thy bed. Care keeps his watch in every old man's eye, and where care lodges, sleep will never lie." Okay, so he's saying it's kind of strange that you're up. Could you not sleep? And then he compares an old person. He says, "Care keeps his watch in every old man's eye, and where care lodges, sleep will never lie." You know, the older you get, the more cares or responsibilities you have, and that often causes lack of sleep for someone like him. But where unbruised youth with unstuffed brain doth couch his limbs, there golden sleep doth reign. But you teenagers with unstuffed brains and no cares in the world can basically sleep anywhere, anytime. So therefore, thy earliness doth me assure thou art uproused with some distemperature. Either you can't sleep, or then here I hit it right. Our Romeo has not been in bed tonight. So he's kind of calling him out on the fact that he hasn't been to bed. And Romeo kind of chuckles. He says, "The last is true. The sweeter rest was mine." In other words, he's like, "Yep, I haven't been to bed." Friar Lawrence, "God pardon sin, was thou with Rosalind?" Think about this. This is huge. The only two people in the world that know that Romeo and Juliet are in love with each other and want to get married are Romeo and Juliet. Everybody else still thinks Romeo is all sad about Rosalind because we are only 24 hours into this play. And so Friar Lawrence is like, "Oh, dude, are you with Rosalind?" And Romeo's like, "Oh, with Rosalind, my ghostly father? No, I forgot that name, and that name's woe. I've forgotten all about her and all the sadness she caused me." Friar Lawrence is like, "That's good, my son, but where hast thou been then?" And Romeo's like, "I'll tell you as we pass, or I'll tell thee ere thou ask me again. I've been feasting with mine enemy, where on a sudden one hath wounded me, that's by me wounded. Both our remedies within thy help and holy physic lie. I bear no hatred, blessed man, for lo, my intercession likewise steads my foe." He's basically saying that I've been feasting with mine enemy, and you can help us. Now, Friar Lawrence is like, "Be plain, good son. Riddling confession finds, but riddling shrift." Like, be plain. Speak in plain language. What in the world? Romeo says, "Then plainly know that my dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet. As mine on hers, so hers is set on mine. And all combined, save what thou must combine by holy marriage. When and where and how we met, we wooed, we exchanged vows, I'll tell you as we pass. But this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today." Okay, Friar Lawrence has got to be the adult in the room right now. Romeo has basically just told him, after all of this with Rosalind, I'm in love with Juliet Capulet, and she's in love with me, and we'd like to get married. when and where and how we met, we wooed, we made exchange of vows. Yeah. I'll tell you as we pass. But can you marry us today? Look at Friar Lawrence's response. He is the adult in the room, and he just explodes. Holy St. Francis. What? Are you kidding me? What a change is here. Is Rosalind, who thou lovest so dear, so soon forsaken? Young men's love lies then not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Think about that. Young men's love then lies not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Okay? These lines are really important. Okay? Basically, Friar Lawrence is saying you are infatuated with her. You are not in love with her. You like her looks. You don't know her well enough yet to be able to get married. But there it is. And he just goes off on him. Jesu Maria, what a deal of brine hath washed thy sallow cheeks for Rosalind. Brine. Brine is like salt water. And so, all the tears that you shed for Rosalind, how much salt water thrown away in waste, to season love that of it doth not taste. The sun not yet thy sights from heaven clears, thy old groans ring yet in mine ancient ears. Like I can still hear your whining, your groans. And he points at his cheek. He goes, lo, up here on the cheek, an old a stain of an old tear that hasn't washed off yet. Okay? He's like, pronounce it then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men. If men are weak, women may fall, may sin. And Romeo's like, dude, thou chidest me off for loving Rosalind. You scolded me often for loving Rosalind. And Romeo is saying, I don't chide me, pray, chide me not. She whom I love now doth grace for grace and love for love allow. The other did not so. Friar Lawrence, Juliet loves me back, and Rosalind didn't. So, this is a thoughtful thing for Friar Lawrence, and he decides right here in line 90, one respect, I'll assistant be, for this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancor into pure love. So Friar Lawrence is deciding that yes, he will marry them that day, because if he marries them, then it might end the feud between their families. It might turn the household's rancor into pure love. Anyway, so that's the big gist of it. Act 2, Scene 3. So what I'm actually going to have you do for the rest of Act 2 is I'm going to have you read Act 2, Scenes 4, 5, and 6 on your own. And I want you to write, for an assignment, write like a gossipy letter. Back in the day when I was in school, we didn't snap each other. We wrote notes. We were always writing notes back and forth to each other and kind of had all the gossip of the day. So I want to have you go back in time, and I want you to read Act 2, Scenes 4, 5, and 6, and write a gossipy letter, like you were writing a note to a friend. Pretend you know all of this, and pretend that whatever happens in Scenes 4, 5, and 6 in Act 2, that you summarize to them in kind of a gossipy way, like, OMG, here's what's going on. Can you believe this? And that's going to be your assignment for Act 2, Scenes 4, 5, and 6. I will put that all on Schoology for you. Thanks for listening and have a lovely day.